भजेऽहम्।
ॐ शिवोऽहम् ॐ शिवोऽहम् रुद्रनामं भजेऽहम्।
वीरभद्राय अग्निनेत्राय घोरसंहारः सकललोकाय सर्वभूताय सत्यसाक्षात्कारा।
शम्भो शम्भो शङ्करा।
ॐ शिवोऽहम् ॐ शिवोऽहम् रुद्रनामं भजेऽहम् भजेऽहम्।
हर 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 महादेव। ॐ नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय च अरुणाय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे वदाय च धूले वदाय च नमो अन्ते च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयोभवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च।
अंड ब्रह्मांड कोटि अखिल परिपालना पूरणा जगत् कारणा सत्य देव देव प्रिया। वेद वेदार्थ सारा यज्ञ यज्ञोमया निश्चला दुष्ट निग्रह सप्तलोक संरक्षणा। सोम सूर्याग्निलोचना
श्वेतऋषभवाहना
शूलपाणि भुजंग भूषणा
त्रिपुरनाशरक्षणा
व्योमकेश महासेन जनक पंचवक्त्र परशुहस्त नमः। ॐ शिवोऽहम् ॐ शिवोऽहम् रुद्रनामं भजेऽहम्
भजेऽहम्। ॐ शिवोऽहम् ॐ शिवोऽहम् रुद्रनामम्।
गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम बैक टू भारत अन्वेषण। थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल ग्लिचेस हुए थे पहले 2 मिनट, तो इसीलिए वो ट्रांसमिट होने में कुछ चैलेंजिंग था, बट एनीवे नाउ एवरीथिंग इज आई थिंक गुड गोइंग एंड आई थिंक पीपल आर एबल टू see the live session of Bharat Anveshan of today's January 18th 2026। हाँ जी, सबसे पहले तो आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद बोलना चाहता हूँ, बिकॉज एवरी संडे you watch our show, you support us, and you share our channel link with your friends, families, and contacts. And just a good news is last year we crossed 5,000 subscribers. Thank you to all of you for that, and please subscribe the channel, because more the subscribers, more the viewers, it is good for our guest as well as for us. So as I said, Bharat Anveshan mainly focuses on bringing the Indian origin people, whether it can be cuisine, it can be art, it can be music, it can be anything related to India on a positive side. So that is the whole idea of bringing the Bharat Anveshan to you all. And of course, Sandeep Sadanandappa, my technical backup, technical guru, and he is based in Bangalore. He is always there to support me on the technical side of it. Today he has to step out somewhere else, so but I'm managing both the technical as well as the show. चलिए आज का कार्यक्रम शुरू करते हैं, and just to talk a little bit about our guest today. He is an environmental engineer with 44 years of experience in the areas of mining, construction management, solid and liquid waste management, water management, and hazardous waste. After his retirement, he has devoted the last 20 plus years in giving his time, talent, and treasure for various causes in India and also in the United States. He is there with us today, and we are going to talk about the giving back to the society through the joy of giving, or in other words it's called as dana. Chaliye, let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. VASUDEVAN RAJARAM to our show. Before that, I want to thank Professor Hariharan, who is a good friend, who is also a Rotarian based out in India, and he has introduced Dr. Rajaram today. Welcome to the show, sir. Good morning to you. How are you this morning?
आप सभी दर्शकों को हमारी नमस्कार, good morning and good evening to listeners, and I'm really glad to join you today, Rajiv, about my experience in giving back and how others can join in this effort and find joy in their lives.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. It is our a pleasure to have you on our channel. And because you have been living here in the United States for several years now. But in fact, the thing is, after living here, you still, you know, want to give back to your original place where you belong to. And so, before we get on to our actual discussion today, so tell us or tell our audience briefly about you. You originally come from what part of India, and a little bit about yourself, sir.
Thank you, Rajiv. To follow up with what my friend Hari said last week, we have to live with purpose in our lives. What I'm going to say is how that purposeful life can be full of joy if you help your fellow human beings and are kind to the environment. So that is my focus. And my background is 22 years. When I was 22 years, I came to the US. But before that, I, I grew up in a joint family in Secunderabad, India. And there, I grew up with several cousins, my brothers, and my grandparents, my parents. And growing up in that environment, I learned about caring and sharing for others. Whatever little we had, we shared amongst others, amongst ourselves, and with people who didn't have as much as we had. And that culture of giving, which my grandmother told me when I was 7 years old, that service to humanity is service to God. And my parents reinforced it by saying that, right, as soon as you start working, you are going to keep aside 2% of your income for helping others. And as your income grows, you can make it 10%, 20%, whatever you want. So that stuck with me from my childhood days. And so I always saying, when is the right time? I should step in and really do big instead of giving small amounts, of my income to others who need it. So that is my background. And before I start, I want to say that in this journey, my wife has been an unflinching support to me to help me in this giving. My daughter, Pooja, and her husband, John, have been helping me with all my charitable work. My younger brother, Sridhar, from Wisconsin, has been a steady partner for the past 15 years. And whenever I ask him, I need X number of dollars for a project in India, Kenya, he says, where do I send it? Here, where's the check? And he checks his checkbook and writes it. So those are the kinds of people, and the many, 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 many donors who have given to me when I was running Pratham. And whenever I ask them for a cause, they give it without thinking the second time. They say, Raj, you're sincerely asking, we can afford to give. Here is our time or money or our talent for your cause. So that is the people who supported me, who made all this possible. I want to thank all of them.
Excellent, sir. Excellent beginning and excellent background of yours. So you have dedicated almost like significant support and services for India over the last 30 plus years from the mid 90s. Can you tell us what these collaborations and support services meant to India?
I had a turning point in my life in 1994 when my daughter was finishing high school, and she said, "Dad, I don't need any of your help in doing well in school." So immediately I called up people in Chicago Bar Association that I belong to, and I said, "What opportunity do I have in India to teach, to tutor and mentor a young high school student in Chicago, in the poorest part of Chicago?" And within a week, I get the name of a girl saying she's in 10th grade, she's failing in school, about to drop out, and we want you to come once a week for 2 hours and tutor and mentor her. We are about 70 different attorneys who come. Each one is one-to-one tutor mentoring, and we want you to start as soon as possible. So the next week in 1994, I met this girl I asked her for a report card. And in school, she was maybe doing well in 2 subjects, failing in 3, and saying, I don't have any interest in school. So I said, "What is your toughest subject?" She said, "Physics." So I said, "You bring your physics textbook next time when we sit down for tutoring, and I will explain how easy physics is." And she saw how serious I was, went to her teacher, got her physics book, and gave it to me. I read that one subject that they were doing, chapter, explained it to her. Then we started doing some problems from that. And within 2 hours, she said, "Oh, physics is easy. I'm getting all the answers right." So within 2 months, all her grades moved from a D or F to a B. And that gave me such happiness. That 2 hours of mine, of Gyanadan, to a young girl who's about to drop out of school can change her life. In those 2 years, I just completely stayed with her, made sure she took the school entrance exams, did well in them, and got into University of Illinois, Chicago, which she
Wow.
never thought was possible. So that told me that so easy to give. As a professional, 2 hours a week was nothing for me. And I would just spend those 2 hours could change the life of a kid. And since then, I've constantly had one kid at least in the poorest part of Chicago to tutor till 2010, when I became very busy with Pradham and all that. So that was what my start was. And also in 1994, I got an opportunity to meet with a gentleman from New Delhi who said, "Raj, I'm in the contracting business, doing a lot of projects for National Thermal Power Corporation, and they need help in water management. So I see your company does a lot of big water projects. Can you partner with us?" I said, "Sure, let's go start a joint venture in Delhi." So we called it Tetra Tech India. I was working for a big company here called Tetra Tech in Chicago. And I said, "I would love to open their office in Delhi and transfer all the environmental technologies that we have in solid waste management, water management, hazardous waste management that we are providing to clients here to clients in India." So since then, my life has been tremendously blessed because I met so many young engineers who I could train, tutor, mentor, and within a few years, we built this company in New Delhi, Tetra Tech India, to about 25 people, young engineers, 1 to 2 years out of school, who could not even do a letter to a client without making a mistake or two. I said, "I want excellence. You can be world-class engineers." And so I just kept after them, encouraged them. And within a few years, these people were just doing excellent work with very little guidance from me. And in 2002, after 8 years of getting that company going, I said, "It is enough. I should start spending less time on consulting and more time on giving back." So I handed over the company to my mentee, Satish Malik. And I said, "Satish, you run this. You know how to run it. Come on, expand it from 25 to 250. And he did that. Within a few years, he said, "Raj, we are at 250 now." engineers all over India. We're working on water, wastewater, solid waste management. So that was the biggest pleasure. And during those years, I learned about the problems of water management and solid waste in India and how the poor are suffering the most with not having clean water, sanitation, or living near a landfill, which is causing them disease. So since then, it's become my crusade since about 2002, 2003 to see what I can do for the poorest of the poor, because I had done consulting for big wealthy clients, but now I said, I've handed it over to Satish, he can run that. I'm going to focus on just how to help the poor. And
Wow.
then in 2004, I got an opportunity to start an organization in Chicago called India Development Coalition of America, idc-america.org. And that was for sustainable rural development of India. We got a bunch of nonprofits within the US to start working with NGOs in India. And that's when I was exposed to wonderful NGOs from Jammu and Kashmir to Kerala, from Gujarat to Bengal. And so those few years when I was running ITCA with my co-founders, it was such a special journey because I met so many wonderful people with very little doing so much for the poor rural communities. So I got encouragement from them and I said, I am going to dedicate my life enough of making money and just, I have enough to live comfortably. I don't need any more. So I said from 2006 on, I said, if I work, I will work only part-time consulting and I will spend at least 40 to 50% of my time and at least 10+% of my income for helping the poor in India. And that has been what do you call a Sat Chit Ananda. It is true inner
Satchitanand.
happiness that came. And so I'm the luckiest person in the world for 20 plus years being able to give back my time or Yanadan, Dhandan with my money, and Samaydan with my time. So that is the thing I really feel everybody can do. And it's all in the reach of every professional because we all have somebody who's not as well as us. We can help them. Reach out, helping hand, give our time, talent, and treasure. Thank you.
एक्सलेंट एक्सलेंट आई थिंक दर्शकों को मैं बताना चाहता हूँ जैसे कि हमने टाइटल रखा है जॉय ऑफ गिविंग और दानम, है ना। तो जैसे कि डॉक्टर राजाराम ने बताया है कि भाई ही बिलीव्स इन गिविंग, दैट मीन्स वेदर इट कैन बी थ्रू द नॉलेज, वेदर इट कैन बी थ्रू monetary, or whether it can be through different kinds of avenues, right? Like in giving is what it matters the most. So I think you have answered quite a lot on the next question which I had, because after you have lived here now in the United States for more than 5 decades, I guess, and you are a US citizen, and being US citizen, being living in the United States, such a developed country, your heart still continues to live back in India. Why is that? Can you tell us on that?
I got my engineering through scholarships given by the Indian government. I came here in 1970 to do my PhD, and I got my PhD free of cost by taxpayers from the US. So the attitude of gratitude just permeated me since then. I said, I am what I am today because people in India sacrificed to give me scholarship. People in the US sacrificed to give me my scholarship for my PhD. So since then, I said, whenever I get the chance, I will spend as much time and as much money as I can for helping others because I was in a position when I needed help and others gave me. So why should not I give back? And that once I started doing that in the, like I said, 1994, the pivotal moment, that was really, really transforming. And I just have been living in an Ananda phase of my life since then.
No, it's a beautiful gesture, I would say, because the gratitude is the most important thing, and the humility. And I mean, you remember, I really like the way you put it across that the taxpayers of India sponsored you to, get your education and the scholarship, and the taxpayers in the US got you the Ph.D. scholarship, and you felt that you had to give it back. So, and you're doing this. That's absolutely brilliantly said. Here, a couple of comments which have come. Just I'll read out to you. And a question for Dr. Raj: can anyone outgive God, or does He keep replenishing our resources when we participate in His plans to help those in need?
Absolutely. Because God has given us, He has given us this life, this breath that we take every moment to live. So, whatever He has given us, if you decide to live a simple life, like they say in India, roti, kapada, or makan,
Nakan.
all you need is food to keep you alive, a shelter, and some clothes to wear so that you're decent in society. If you say, these are my needs, all the rest are your wants, are luxuries, which you can do without. But many of us think, unless I live in a big house and I have to keep up with my neighbors, that is the wrong attitude, which just tells people I don't have enough money. I said, this thinking of abundance, that I have enough. When I was getting a PhD scholarship of $300 a month, I felt so blessed because I just had to study and do well, do my research. And even at that time, I believed in George McGovern was running to start this war in the US. I gave $10 of my check for his donation for his campaign, whatever little I could do. So from then on, I said, $300 means it's not little. It is enough for me to live. I had a nice apartment that the university gave me. I had my food. I had my clothes. What else do I need? I don't need a fancy car, nothing. So
Right.
once I got into that way, that simple living is the only way to live happily. Since then, whenever people say, hey, why didn't you buy this car, that car? I said, why do I need? I need transportation. I need wheels and some music there, that's it. So since my first car, I have always said, keep it very simple. First house, keep it simple. And so that is the kind of thing, when you do that, you have plenty. God constantly gives you. And your thinking has to change, that I don't have enough. That means you want to constantly earn more, grab more, and get the latest iPhone, latest this, latest that. All that give you happiness for about an hour to a few days. After that, so what? Next. So what's next? The mind says that, what's next? Instead of saying that, you say, I have plenty. Whatever I have, I am going to share it. And the culture, like my Puja Swamiji Dayanand Saraswati of Arsha Vidya Gurukulam says, the culture of humans is for caring for others. And in the Hindu culture, it says, respect your elders, give to elders, give to animals, air, water, earth, people. All we care for, because this had been given to us by God. We didn't do anything to get air, clean water, air. All this has been given. So why don't you take care of them for the future generations and give? And then when you decide how much is good to give, Puja Swamiji says, give till it hurts. Means to a point where you say, okay, I need this much to live, so I'll keep that. But rest, give it. And that giving, you say, that gives you inner happiness, because whatever amount of physical wealth you have or comforts you have, are all they're temporary, come and go. And then at the end of the day, you say, what did I do? I just helped myself and my family. Is that the only thing I'm born here for? No, Bhagavan has told me, take care of the environment, take care of other people.
Right.
And so this is what our Shastras tell us, our scriptures tell in every religion. When Islam says zakat should be 10%. Christianity said, give charity 10% of your salary. So all that say 10%. So Puja Swamiji says, give till it hurts. It could be 50%. Like Warren Buffett said, rich people give 50 to 90%. Warren
Yes.
Buffett gave out 99% of his, because he had so much money. He said, know what to do. He said, for my kids, I don't want to leave anything because that'll spoil them. So he's my guru. Warren Buffett, 99% give it away. And he lives in still a simple house. He's a multi-billionaire. So that is the kind of thing. So these are my ideals, Gandhiji, Warren Buffett in the financial sector, Nelson Mandela. I've written a book about all these things I can tell you later. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back in 2 minutes.
तेरे जीवन का है कर्मों से नाता, तेरे जीवन का है कर्मों से नाता, तू ही अपना भाग्य विधाता। जैसी लिखेगा कर्मों की रेखा, जैसी लिखेगा तू कर्मों की रेखा, देना होगा तिल तिल का लेखा, देना होगा तिल तिल का लेखा। तेरे जीवन का है कर्मों से नाता। आज तू जिसको अच्छा समझे, जान ले उसका कल क्या है, कल क्या है। सोच ले चलने से पहले तू उन राहों की मंजिल क्या है, मंजिल क्या है। जो भी किया है आगे आता, तू इतना भी सोच न पाता। जैसी लिखेगा कर्मों की रेखा, जैसी लिखेगा तू कर्मों की रेखा, देना होगा तिल तिल का लेखा, देना होगा तिल।
Good morning and welcome back to Bharat Anveshan show with your host Rajiv Kulkarni, and today we have a very special guest from Chicago, Dr. Rajaram, and he is a philanthropist. He is a retired environmental engineer, but I don't call it as retired because he still very actively helps and supports the people who needs lot of knowledge or the wealth of knowledge, I would say, which he carries. And welcome back to the show, sir, after this small break. And this song is specially played from the movie called Karma Yogi, which is basically the karmas that you do, and it is which is giving back to you. The meaning of the song is basically that, which absolutely fits in what you are doing in today's world. And so it's very impressive to note about your thought process, and I'm very impressed about how you put it that for your studies in India, the taxpayers had to do the scholarship sponsoring, and how the taxpayers in the US did the scholarship sponsoring when you came here for Ph.D. That's a very beautiful way to put it, and how you want to give that to the society back. And so on the numbers of things that you are distinguished yourself upon, what do you believe is that one area where your contribution to the United States or to India has been the most significant so far?
For me, in the US, it's been tutoring and mentoring young people in the poorest parts of Chicago. And also, I'm very active in the Greater Chicago Food Depository that feeds 800,000 hungry people in Chicago, in Cook County. And
Wow.
so since 1994, I just have fell in love with that organization. I get, involved with the management there. And every year I've been increasing my donation there. And since I earn my income in the US, I give at least 30 to 40% in the US through Greater Chicago Depository and some other causes in the US, and the rest for India. And that has been education and hunger has been my two causes in the US. And in India, like I said, starting Tetra and sharing my knowledge, environmental technologies, has been very, very, very big pleasure for me. And other thing, I have been involved with wonderful organizations in India. I just list them and then I'll explain one or two of these in great
Yes,
detail.
yes, please.
One is Pratham. Pratham means the first education for a child. They educate 5+ million children every year in the slums and rural communities all over India, 21 or 22 states. I got involved in that in a very big way, I'll tell you in a couple of minutes. After that, I got an opportunity to work with Shankar Nethralaya, eye hospital giving free eye care to the poor in Chennai and different parts of India. So I got involved with them, raising money for them. Then Sonoma Ashram is a beautiful organization in California that runs a Agor Foundation in Varanasi. And through that, since 2002, I have been just giving my time, talent, and treasure to help them. They have an eye hospital I helped set up with my connection to Shankar Nethralaya. And now I've been helping that eye hospital grow in Varanasi. And then Puja Swamiji, Dhyanand Surti, started a group called Aim for Seva. This is for the poorest kids in rural communities who cannot afford to go after elementary school to a place far away where the kids usually drop out. So we have about 110 chatralayas or hostels for these kids, both boys and girls, and we take them under the guidance of Swamiji, who gives them spiritual values, and then we take care of them 11 months of the year, food, shelter, and make sure they study well, and make sure they can go to the local high school in that area where the hostel is. So these kids, over the last 25 years, have done extremely well in school, gone on to college, and we find them jobs, and that is what Aim for Seva does. My brother and I built a hostel in our hometown, our home village of Nizamabad district in Telangana. I told my brother, I need $100,000 to build this hostel. He says, here is a check. So we built it. It's thriving, 85 girls doing excellent, getting excellent education. But let me come back to Pratham. Pratham just called me out of the blue. My friend Yogi Patel from Dallas actually introduced me to Pratham in 2006. And in 2010, I get a call from another person in Dallas saying, we have a fundraising event planned in Chicago where Anupam Kher is coming. And the person who was taking care of it said he can't do it. So only 2 months left. Raj, you have to step in. With the support of my wonderful wife and a lot of people in Chicago that I knew, I just held a fundraiser. And the food and banquet hall was paid by an Indian American who was from Uttarakhand. When I told him what we do in Uttarakhand for the kids there, he said, this hall food is free for you for your event. 175 people came, and I was surprised after 3 hours, we had raised $92,000.
Wow.
I said, oh my God, I can raise this much money just with support of people here. So next year, I got involved with a few people who showed a lot of interest, formed a board of 8 people, and I told all of them that you have to make a commitment of $5,000 personally and get 5,000 or more from your friends. And with this board and with our efforts, next year was $175,000. Next year, $250,000. Next year, $330,000. Like that, within 5 years, we raised $900,000 for Pratham projects in India. It was such a surprise for me that I could raise this much money. And it's finally I found out it's not me. It is my team, volunteers, all volunteers, and people who want to give. And so this one story will be very amazing to your listeners. I was about $15,000 short in 2011 towards my goal of 175,000. So I called several people during Christmas times and giving time in the US, and I left voice messages. Only one person called me back. He said, Raj, you had called me about Pratham. I said, so thank you so much for calling me back. I need $15,000 to fulfill my goal for this year. Can you help? He said, just come and pick up a check. So when I
Wow.
met him, he gave me the check first and said, tell me, you're so sincere. What is your goal next year? I said, 250. He said, why not 400,000?
Wow.
I said, with a young business person like this, with you helping me with your connections, why not 500,000 too? So since then, he has been giving at the rate of 50,000 a year. And during COVID times, he gave $200,000 a year for 2-3 years. So this is the kind of people who are willing to give when the cause is good and you're sincere. And when I get a chance, I can talk about how I did this, how with zero experience in fundraising I could get this much. But I can do that later or do it now, whatever you suggest.
Sir, it's up to you. You can
Okay.
definitely, you can give an example of how you did
Yeah.
that.
So
Yes.
again, it is the sincerity with which I ask people and the passion I show for the cause of education for the poorest kids in India. Persistence. I never give up till they say yes. And I don't ask for small amounts. If I know a person can give big, I ask them for 10,000, 15,000. And if the person says, here's $100, a wealthy person I know, I said, you keep it. You might need it more than me for my kids in India. So you keep it. So most of my donors, even college kids have given $500 or more. And many of the wealthy business people in Chicago gave me 10,000, 15,000, 50,000, 100,000, and went to corporates. And I said, this is the cause of education. You are doing business in India. You need qualified people. Without education, where will you get these people? That's what we are doing. And companies like Allstate Insurance say 50,000, 60,000 a year start with, and we'll keep increasing it. Wrigley Chewing Gum says, oh, we saw your work in India. Here is $1 million. 500,000 first year, second year, 500,000. So this is the kind of money. The cause is good, and you ask passionately, they give. And one thing we do is report to donors every month, every other month, keep them informed. Impact of their donation. When they see that, they want to give more. And so
Correct.
this constant communication with donors, retaining 80% of my donors or more every year, that has been the thing. So asking big, retaining donors, constantly keeping them informed about impact of their money on the cause that they are supporting. These are the things which I did for Pratham, which kept on. Now, the team that I built up, in 2014, I said, 5 years I've led this, I gave it to others. And this other team now raises $1 million every year in Chicago for Pratham. And Pratham USA raises more than $20 million every year from 14 chapters in the US. All volunteers, just giving their time, talent, and treasure. This is what, and Pratham is the best NGO helping, I said, elementary kid education, vocational training for kids, girls who drop out of middle school, high school, making them finish high school, get wonderful jobs, and then measuring how the schools are doing all over India. And their report is more believable than the government's reports on how the schools are doing in India. Every year, the government uses Pratham's report to make sure how to improve the education in different parts of India. So this is the kind of organization Pratham is. Once I got involved, my heart and soul is in that. And then when I ask with that kind of a passion, people give. And that is the secret of fundraising. And people say, I don't know, don't be shy. I go with my begging bowl and say, this is not for me. This is for the poorest kids. And many of the Indian Americans, I say, you got a good education and are doing well here. Why not these kids? What wrong did they do? Because they bought in a rural area slum, they should not have education. And people gave big. Thank you.
So there are a couple of beautiful comments here. Thank you for showcasing one of our favorite philanthropist, Dr. Raj. He just doesn't give financially, but with the kind words, mentoring, lending his expertise to water projects. Another comment, great to see Dr. Raj. I have the privilege to work with him and be mentored by him. That's so beautiful comments. So please commenting like that as you know that we have this wonderful people whom we bring the guest. And thank you, Professor Hariharan, for introducing Dr. Raj to our show. Sir, you have been a writer initially of books, and that were in the technical domain of solid waste management or water management. Can you tell us of those books?
Yeah, and my career started in mining engineering because my degree is in mining from India. And so the first 8-10 years in the US, I spent doing mining projects out in the western parts of the US, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and all that. And I saw the amount of damage mining was doing to the environment. So I wrote a book called Sustainable Mining Practices, a Global Perspective. Through my network, I could get hold of the best people in mining in Australia, UK, India, US, Europe. And I said, what are the best practices that you use to get what the minerals that we need from the earth for our standard of living, but still not damage the environment, damage the water, damage the land? So they gave me what examples of things they are doing around the world. So I put all of that together. So it will be a showcase for people in India who many mining companies doing wonderful resource extraction, but leave the land in a mess. In Orissa, I've seen those things in West Bengal and others. So I said, this is my contribution to help them do mining without ruining the environment. Then I got into solid and hazardous waste management. So I had one of my first employees in Tech India reached out to me a few years after that and said, Raj, why don't we write a book on landfill gas? So many landfills, there's so many gas, methane gas going to the air, increasing, worsening climate change. What can we do? So I said, you've been doing landfill management also. So let's jointly write a book. So we wrote a landfill gas, how to use it to produce energy instead of ruining the environment. Then solid and liquid waste management, because so much of our water is contaminated by polluted water, sewage into our rivers. And our solid waste is just thrown around, which is causing disease. So I wrote a book called Solid and Liquid Waste Management, how we can manage these without ruining the environment. These are essential for us to manage it properly. And doing it properly, you don't ruin the water, air, or land. So that was a book. So those are technical books saying Jnana Dan. Whatever I know, I just shared it through these books.
Wow. So, and we talk about sustainability, we talked about and you have been, consistently, you have advocated and a great passion also, on the sustainability. So what is your vision of a sustainable India moving forward?
Sustainability is making sure we are not so selfish that we grab everything now and don't leave anything for our children or grandchildren. We all want, in theory, to leave money aside for our children and grandchildren. But if you don't leave a clean environment, clean water, clean land, how will they survive in the future? So sustainability means living a simple life right now, not abusing the resources that God has given us. Take care of them. Minimize your use. Again, simple life means you use less. You recycle more. You reuse stuff. In India, we are good at that. But currently, people have forgotten about the things that I learned when I was in India in the 60s. And people, I see, just throw things away now. And they are not caring for the environment. And that is really hurting the poorest people in our slums, in our rural communities. So let's take care of our environment. Let us take care of, if the poor kids in slums and rural communities are not educated, how will India be sustainable? There won't be any good qualified workforce. So give your time to them. Teach them. We all have enough time in the week to give 2 hours, like I said, to go help a child in a poor area of your town. Your maid might have one or two kids who's not doing well in school. Start there. Say, come on, kid, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to make sure you do well in school. So through education, through environment, through making sure that you share your knowledge, your compassion with others. If you don't do that, we constantly will be hearing all the dire consequences. We're going to have floods, we're going to have this, we're going to get pralaya, all that stuff. So we have to start caring for your environment, caring for others that you live around with. And you can do that only if you simplify your life, start conserving, reusing, and recycling resources.
Wow, very well said. Absolutely brilliant. So, in the recent years, you have been a great supporter of schools and water literacy, right? We had, yeah, I think you must have seen, I don't know if you had a chance to see, we had, Dr. Niharika and Nikki Kalpa, the young people on the work, they are working on, they are doing it on some schools in Bangalore, right? To Bangalore go net zero water, right? So you have already supported this and hope to do more. How do you hope to support such a cause?
In 2006, I did a big conference in Chicago called Water Summit. I brought the leaders from India, Chicago, Ottawa, Illinois to talk about water issues. And then at that moment, after 2 days of discussion over the weekend, we said we have to start an andolan or a revolution in India for teaching people how to manage water better so that there's water available for everyone, for not now, but forever in the future. So we said, which is the best way to teach if we don't start with the kids in our high
Yeah,
schools, in our middle schools? So when my friend Hariharan came up with this program called Rain Reach to teach these kids about rainwater harvesting and how to manage the water, how to conserve water, how the wastewater should be managed, I said, here is my money. So for a couple of years, me and my brother said, here's $20,000. Start with a few schools. Start putting Rain Reach in some schools. So he started doing that, and then slowly, seeing the good work, other supporters came in. But right now, as we talk, I'm working with Hari on a $100,000 grant from Lions International to take up another 10 plus schools in Pune and Bangalore. And I'm going to be working with Rotary to get another $100,000 or something like that for expanding Rain Reach all over India. So this is the kind of thing we have to do. And there are these wonderful, I know, because I've been aligned since 2006. And I'm with Engineers Without Borders since 2007. And Engineers Without Borders is another great organization. I even helped Engineers Without Borders India grow with getting more student chapters in India through my connections there. But here, since 2007, I've been mentoring young engineers in going to remote parts of the world, Africa, Guatemala, Central America, getting clean water and sanitation to these places. And since about 2017, when I fully retired from no more part-time consulting, I have put my full time into working with these young engineers in Chicago, raising money for doing these clean water projects. In Kenya, last 8-9 years, we have transformed the community, giving them clean water, building a overhead tank, which a municipality builds. Municipality doesn't do anything there, so we built it through Engineers Without Borders and raising money through Lions and others. So there are many organizations doing wonderful work. So I say, get involved, volunteer your time, talent, and treasure. If you don't want to start your own, which is a lot of headaches, you just find an organization that fits your passion. And there are many in any city you live, anywhere in the world. So you can go get involved and say, I am going to give my time first. And once I understand that organization, whether how much money they need, I'm going to start raising money, starting with my own. So all these things we can do, and this is what RainReach touches my heart, and I will continue this to my last breath. Finding money somewhere, getting to corporations and telling, hey, what are you making money for if people don't have clean water? Water is life. With 3-4 days
Yeah.
of dehydration, people die.
Right.
Water, clean air, God has given us, even that we are polluting. But water, let them have it. And don't pollute the land so that people can grow some food in that and eat healthy food. So these are the kinds of land, air, and water. We have to get our younger generation to involved. And RainReach is doing that with water. And I'm working with another group called DNA Life for reforesting parts of Western Karnataka, which are barren now. The beautiful Western Ghats, which are beautiful mountains, getting barren. People are cutting their forests. So I'm working with them to start replanting and getting more forested land in Karnataka and other parts of India. So many things anybody can do. They just need a passion in their heart, thinking differently, saying, my needs are enough. I have my wants I've satisfied. I don't want any more. My kids, I've given them education, that's enough. I don't want to leave them money. So let them, build their own
Explore,
futures
yeah.
with the education I've given. So spend that money right now. Instead of saying, I'll write it in my will, and after somebody, who knows how the money is spent. Right now, spend it so that you can help others, live a better life. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So for the people audience, their DNA Life is at dna-life.org. You can visit and you can see all kinds of activities out there. And as you mentioned, it's in Western Ghats of Karnataka. I know a couple of people who are also working on the Western Ghats. You might have heard the actor Suresh Heblikar, and he is really working very hard to preserve the Western Ghats of the southern belt range, I would say. And recently he held a national conference in Bangalore in the month of November, and he addressed a huge audience out there. And also Dr. Jagdish Mittur, whom I had interviewed on my...
I know him. I know Jagdish
Yes,
Mittur.
yeah, he runs a school near Bangalore, and he is a good friend of our common friend, and he also works on these DNA-Life your projects. So that's wonderful. It's a small world, Dr. Rajaram, I would say.
We all have to connect the NGOs together.
Yes.
Working together, we make a huge difference. 1 + 1 becomes 11 or 111 or whatever number.
1,000. Yes,
So
yes,
that is what we
absolutely.
need. We not work in isolation, but
Yes.
work together.
Work
There is
together.
no ego involved in this when we are doing seva. We just are
Absolutely.
doing it for helping others. So drop your ego 100% and go for it. Help others. Okay?
That is the whole idea of Bharat Anveshan. And that is where we bring in people like yourself, people like Professor Hariharan, and like Dr. Niharika, and so youngsters and so on and so forth, who believe in joy of giving or dhanam, And so, Dr. Rajaram, we are almost through the hour now, coming to end of our session for today. And before we conclude, you have any message for our audience?
Yes, I want to read from Swami Dayanand Saraswati's small booklet called Dhanam.
Yes, please.
He says, nobody becomes successful without being at the right place at the right time. It is grace. You have to be grateful, and you have to be grateful for that. But it is Bhagwan's help that you put you at the right place at the right time. So it's not
Right.
just all your effort. It is His grace. So if you are in a position of power, coming out of the grace of being at the right place at the right time, then that power has to be used for caring programs. You have to be a contributor instead of just a consumer in society. The word contributor is extremely important. Through time, talent, and treasure. Be a contributor, get happiness within yourself, and then make a difference in the world.
Wonderfully said. Thank you so very much for your valuable time today, Dr. Rajaram, to share your wealth of experience, your wealth of knowledge, how to give back to the society. एंड वैसे दर्शकों को मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ स्मॉल अपील, वॉट एवर यू कैन go ahead and help out there, because this time doesn't come back to you again. The time elapsed is time gone, and you cannot get that time back. Even if you go back and try to donate, that won't come back. But as Dr. Rajaram mentioned, give what you want to give today, because tomorrow doesn't wait for you, and it's gone. And with that, I would say that I have to thank Dr. Rajaram, Dr. Professor Hariharan for introducing such a noble gentleman, and all the audience out there to watch the show today and supporting and writing beautiful comments out there. I really thank you all. Next week we are bringing another energetic personality, Miss Nasira Ahmed from Rotary Bangalore, and she is going to tell about how you can generate the positive vibes, positive energy among the people under the stressful life that we go through on a day-to-day basis. With that said, I would like to take a leave, and thank you so very much.
Thank you,
Dhanyavad, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you all the audience, and wherever you are, please be safe and God bless you all. और तंदुरुस्त रहिए और खुशी खुशी रहिए. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rajiv.